Yo, what's going on YouTube? This is
Brave Wilson.
back with another beat making video. Haven't done this in a few years, 2 or 3 actually, because of, real life obligations. Happens to all of us. So have not had a chance to work on my hobby as much. Back with another beginner beat making video. I still call myself a beginner because even though it's been a few years, I haven't progressed as I would like, as much as I would like, but whatever, that's neither here nor there. So one day I was watching the original Turtles movie, right? And you know the part where Shredder comes in and talks to the foot soldiers? Well, there's this song that's playing in the background. I thought it sounded pretty good and was curious why nobody ever made a beat out of it. So, guess what? I made a beat out of it. So I go to YouTube, find the sample. It's called Shredder's Suit, I believe. And I sampled it, and I have it right here. So I listened to it a few times, trying to figure out what I'm gonna take from it, and I guess to keep things simple, I just took three parts of it. One is just a single sound, which is this. The other is a I don't know how many seconds it is, but this is something I normally chop up everything, but I didn't chop this up. I just looped this because I liked how it sounded, and I lowered the tempo because it was a little bit too fast for my 140 BPM, and it sounds like this. And the last thing I took, I actually did chop up, and I put it on 8 pads, and it sounds like this. I don't know if you can tell, but I kind of EQ'd both of these chops to get rid of a lot of the low end because it was sounding, really jumbled up. Yeah. So when I chopped up this and put it on the 8 pads, I had to chop it up and start each chop at a hit of the beat. Now I'm probably not saying that right. I don't know the real terminology to use, but basically I wanted to each 8 chop to be a hit of the beat. So in essence, I can use any one of these parts as the beginning of my pattern, if that makes any sense. So each one of those is a hit of the beat, so I can do anything I want as far as pattern for it. So anyway, I got these 3 sounds that I took from the original sample, and couldn't think of anything to do with it. So what do you do when you don't know what to do with the sample? You make the drum loop first. So I go to my drums. I've collected these over the years, nothing too fancy. Simple stuff. So, normally I'm all about boom bap type stuff, but this time I wanted to make something hard, hard beat. So I wanted to get some hard hitting drums, high sounding snare, fast hi-hats. So I sat here for a few minutes playing with different patterns and then ultimately came up with something to sound like this. Right? So I did that at 140 BPM. And hi-hats. This is where I normally use my favorite button, which is note repeat. Held down note repeat, kept it on an 1/8, and recorded my hi-hats like this. Oops. And then periodically while recording this, I would hit 16th and make it sound like this. Right? So recorded that and came up with a drum loop that sounded like this. Alright, so you're gonna make a hard song, what do you need? Bass. So basically I got this bass sound. You might not be able to hear it good through the camera mic, but whatever. Well anyway, I recorded this at the same pattern that I have my kick drum recorded at. So that it sounds like this. So already my shoulders start moving real fast. I get real excited. So I'm like, all right, what else can I add to this? Well, this is the type of beat that, you know, I think a hard or dark, eerie piano would sound really good to, right? So honestly, I just went through Maschine and used a stock standard piano. There's nothing, you know, special about this piano. It's called modern piano. But obviously I'm gonna use the low end because I'm trying to make something hard. So I come up with just a simple pattern that sounds like this. Oops. Simple. Simple. So I recorded that with my drums and came up with this. Actually, it would help if I added it in, right? So that's the loop. So I'm like, all right, you know, with a loop like that, as long as you come up with like a hard drum loop, if, you know, this is just, you know, assuming you're trying to make a hard sounding beat. As long as you come with a hard sounding drum loop, in my opinion, it doesn't even matter what the melody sounds like. You can put anything to it and people will bob their head. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna play this and then figure out what I'm gonna do with this melody. So first thing I decide I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play the beat and then play along with this. So I'm not gonna do it now, but I already, you know, adjusted it so it fits my 140 BPM. So when I recorded this loop, it sounds like this. So I'm like, oh, yo, that sounds good. So, you know, what else can I do with the other sample? So this is the one that I have chopped up on 8 different pads. So now I get to play. I can play with the pads in whatever pattern that I want to fit the beat. So I played around with a few different things, but then decided, you know what, I'm gonna keep it simple. I'm gonna start with the original pad and keep it as simple as I can. Excuse me. So I came up with something that sounds like this. Now through the camera that might not sound like much, but I mean, you know, my shoulders were going up and down real quick. I was feeling it at the time. So basically when I put both of the melodies together, I want you to, you know, hear what it sounds like. The final melody sounded like this. And then I added in the piano to kind of, I don't know what it's doing. I just like how it sounds. It's really low, so you know, you might not be able to hear it. Now when I first did, you know, all of this and put it together, I didn't have the EQs on it, so it just sounded all over the place. So I had to go in and put EQs on both of my samples to, you know, I'm still not good with EQing and mixing and all that, so I just played with it for like 30 minutes until I can get rid of certain frequencies that clashed with other frequencies. So EQ, that's like my favorite thing that I'm learning how to play with now. So anyway, boom, I did that. Obviously, you know, when you have fun with beats, you got to put in your tag.
Brave. Wilson.
I got that in there, and then I added in that sound, and ultimately came up with, when you put it all together, it sounds like this. So yeah, I'm gonna actually attach this at the end of this video so you can actually hear it how it's supposed to sound and not just to a camera. And you know, leave a comment and tell me what you think about it. You know, and you veteran producers, tell me how I can improve. If you got some advice on EQing and things like that, you know, I'm welcome to hear it. And I appreciate you watching the video. Appreciate it.